Okay, Matt, thank you. So, when I was asked to try and get hold of you, I assumed the best we could do would be a Skype call because you're based in Australia. But
That's right.
as luck would have it, you came over for the Cricket World Cup. Is that something just because you love doing it, or is it very important to actually be there?
Yeah, it's not. So the reason that I came over here for this tournament was not to attend the games. It's nice to be in the country. I feel like you get sort of a sense of the games. You get caught up in the atmosphere, which is lovely, but I do feel like you get a slight advantage for being here that I wouldn't have if I was at home. But it's more to do with the time zones. To be honest, I just didn't want to work 7 weeks of nights. It starts at 8 p.m. in Australia, finishes at 5 a.m. or something. I just didn't fancy that for 7 weeks. So it was worth the travel and accommodation costs. I'll make more money being here than I would working nights in Australia.
It's interesting you say work. Do you see it as work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just a job to me. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. It's not a when I'm finished, the last thing I want to do is sit and look at a computer screen. I want to get out of the house, even if it's just to go for a beer or go for a walk or something, just to get away. I just see it as a job these days.
Okay, now obviously what you're doing now, you've been doing it for 12 years. Has your betting evolved in that time?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously stakes have increased, just with bigger banks and more confidence, more knowledge, more experience. I'm a lot less aggressive than I used to be, which is a bit weird. I used to back myself a lot more, and I used to run positions a lot longer. Now I'm looking to be a little bit tighter. That possibly comes with knowing that it's a full-time career and it pays the bills, whereas back in the day it was a sort of a part-time career and then evolved into full-time. But my expenses were significantly less when I was 22 than now. So yeah, I think that I'm less aggressive, but at the same time I make a lot more money.
Right, so now obviously you've got confidence in your ability, and it's proven ability. You've made money for 12 years plus. Has there ever been a losing run where you've started to doubt that and your confidence has faltered?
Yeah, you have, especially I found with when I was betting with the bookies, you do have runs where weeks on end you just feel like you can't find a bet. What I used to do is I used to reduce my stakes down a lot when I was on those types of runs. But I do remember 5 or 6 years ago thinking, where is my next winner coming from? But you get through those. At the end of the day, it almost doesn't matter what edge you have. It's still a bet. There's still, if you have a 60-40 edge on a coin flip, that's a huge edge, but you're still going to lose 4 times out of 10. So I mean, I don't know. I think that my edge these days is such on the exchanges that I won't really go through those runs. So I don't really have that kind of issue. But you do have other issues with the exchanges, like premium charge and stuff. That it's difficult to get around your head the first time it happens. I really struggled with it when it first happened, but you just deal with it these days.
I was going to ask that. They've done that in Australia as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I don't know. I'm not going to start getting into the pros and cons, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, who said what. But just for a young lad, when you sort of feel like you've cracked it, and then suddenly you're paying on a weekly basis, just basically a success fee. It can really get in your head. So especially when it went to 40% and then 50%, you think, well, is an even shot really an even shot anymore? If it wins, I'm going to pay half of it out, and if it loses, it loses. So that was a difficult mental challenge, but you just sort of deal with it, I guess.
Okay, is your punting constantly adapting? You're always looking for a different edge?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it has to be. A lot of people, it sounds old in the tooth, but since I started, a lot of people have come and gone. A lot of people that thought they were pro punters are no longer pro punters. A lot of people that thought they were very good clearly weren't. And I think that the market has got smarter. But at the same time, I've made more money this year than last year, and last year than the year before. So I'm certainly not at a stage where the market's caught me up. But it definitely is catching other people up, which is interesting.
Okay, is cricket betting like a science with a code that any good mathematician can crack, or do you need to be shrewd and adopt some natural thinking?
I don't think it is. So a lot of sports now are being bet with algorithms, and the data science guys are mining the data and then betting. I know some prominent English guys who own football clubs have done very well out of football, and are starting to bet into other sports. The thing with cricket is that the pitch is a living thing. So if you so at Roland Garros at the moment, right, the dimensions of every court are the same. Every court's a clay court. It doesn't matter whether you play on centre court or one of the outside courts. Everything's the same. So you can sort of data mine that. You can sort of create a model for that. I think you can do the same with NBA. Every basketball court's the same size. But with cricket, not only are the conditions completely different at every ground, but the pitch changes throughout the game as well. So I'm not sure how they'll model that. I'm sure they'll try, but I think it'll be the last sport that they'll be able to. If they take over the world, I think cricket will be the last one that they manage to take over.
Okay, they talk about unpredictable things. There's been some well-publicised cases of corruption in cricket in the past. Are those days gone in the sport, do you think, or do you look for signs of it and follow the hooky money?
I don't think they're gone. I think there'll always be a temptation to not necessarily fix the game, but to fix small parts of the game, which is very beneficial to people if they have that knowledge. Players are only human. If someone offers you a lot of money, there'll be a temptation there for some people. I think one of the interesting things is that so few games are fixed, but a lot more games people think are fixed, which is interesting. And I usually make reasonable money out of the fact that people are terrified that a game might be fixed when it's not. It's just sport. So markets will move far too far because of some rumour or some theory that this IPL game's fixed or that IPL game's fixed or whatever, and you'll get hurt on the 1 in 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is that does have something dodgy going on, but you'll make far more money opposing the ones that aren't, because 99% of games aren't, at least.
Okay, a lot of people would say, go back to horse racing analogy again, that the higher the grade, obviously the more reliable it is. How low a grade in cricket do you go to find your bets?
I used to bet into county cricket. I don't do that anymore, just because I bet in significantly larger stakes than I used to. The liquidity needs to be higher for me. So the lowest that I'll go now will be domestic one-day cricket. So it'd be like domestic tournaments like the IPL, the Big Bash, the Blast here, and then domestic 50-over tournaments as well. Domestic 4-day cricket doesn't have any liquidity to it, so I just avoid that. It's usually the top level though. I mean, there's 400 international games a year, something ridiculous like, there's 400 high-level cricket games a year that are televised, which is more than one a day. I don't need to, there's plenty of cricket on for me. I don't need to delve any deeper than I do.
And do you intentionally take down time
away
from it?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't used to. I think it's part of getting old. I think when I was 22, I was very happy to work day and night, all the games. Didn't matter what time it was. If it was in England, I'd do the Australian games, middle of the night, and then just deal with the lifestyle. Whereas now I very rarely work nights. One of the reasons I'm here, so I didn't want to do the nights in Australia. I think that it's very tempting to do every game, but as you get more comfortable and you realise that you do have an edge, there's a game tomorrow. There's always another game. There's no reason to bet. If you're in England, there's no reason to bet an Australian game in the middle of the night, because there's every chance that there'll be a game in India or in Dubai the next day, and it'll be on perfect times for English punters. So I think that's an important thing as well. As professional gamblers, we have really average lifestyles health-wise. We sit at a desk all the time. We stare at screens. I think it's important to get away.
Talking about getting away, I mean, you said you've come to England because of the time difference. Do you travel to like India, Pakistan, places like that for the cricket?
Yeah, we do. I've not done India or Pakistan, but I've done cricket in South Africa, cricket in New Zealand, obviously cricket here and in Australia. So I do enjoy it. Obviously I have a common theme with a lot of my friends who do similar stuff. So it's nice to go to a game here or there, or a tour. I was actually at the South Africa-Australia test match where Sandpaper Gate happened, which was great. A bunch of English lads giving the Aussies hell after they got caught rubbing the ball with sandpaper, which was very funny. And yeah, if you travel and you see these games, I'll have a bet, but I'm not betting in the same way. I'll have a bet just for interest or for a laugh with the boys. But it is very interesting. You see these amazing things happen in front of your eyes when you're actually at live events.